All right, let's roll off and talk to Grant in Spokane, Washington. What's up, Grant?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm looking forward to getting some feedback.
All right, let's figure it out, man. What's up?
All right. I've been diagnosed with a bipolar diagnosis about 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
So initially, it was bipolar type 2, and then more recently, it's been bipolar type 1. My question is, how do I live an emotionally healthy life for my wife and our 5 children?
What did you have a significant manic episode that had them re-diagnose you?
They just they thought that I had more of a depressive episodes.
Okay.
That were more affecting my life, but according to the diagnosis, you need to have a manic episode for more than 5 consecutive days.
Yep. And
typically, my high phases last 7 to 10 days.
Okay. What have you done to manage care over the last 4.5 years? Have you kept yourself well?
Medication that wasn't working effectively.
Okay.
I think I was too loyal to a health system that wasn't specialized in mental health, just kind of the general practitioner here in Spokane.
Okay.
And I've made a change recently to something that specializes in mental health, and I see a counselor on a weekly basis, and I see my psychiatrist probably. I've been with them about 90 days, and I've seen her probably half a dozen times in those 90 days.
Wow. Have you seen a uptick in your mood and stabilization? Feeling better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Good deal, man. That's excellent. Hey, can I just tell you this? Just guy to guy, husband to husband, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Good for you. And there's days that you feel good and you don't want to take your meds because you feel like I'm good, man. And you take them anyway, and I'm proud of you. It's hard. Okay?
Yep.
I'm proud of you. All right, so how do you be a good partner to a wife, 5 kids? What's precipitated this? Did something happen? Did you do something? Why today?
My wife and I, we've been separated about 11 months. My oldest daughter, she's going to turn 13 in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And she and I are not on a talking terms. I've traumatized her, and I've said terrible things to her and acted in atrocious ways when I've been unstable, and she just doesn't want me to be in her life at all.
Okay.
And our marriage is hanging on barely. I called into the Dave Ramsey show.
It sounds like it's over, brother. Like y'all have been separated for almost a year now. It sounds like it's over. Is this you not holding? Is this not you not acknowledging reality, or is your wife saying no? We're still working through this.
I don't know. When I called the Dave Ramsey show, I talked to Ken Coleman and George Camel.
Uh-huh.
And they said number 1, protect the kids, and number 1A is fight to save the marriage. And fighting to save the marriage looks like taking care of my mental health, making my appointments, taking my meds. And then number 2, fighting to save the marriage, is call before I come over and create positive memories and work on chores with the kids and saying stuff like, I notice these chores, which one is more a higher priority to my spouse?
Hold on. So I want to reframe that a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Taking your meds, getting counseling, moving your body and exercising and putting good food into your body, like getting some sleep. That isn't to save your marriage. That's for you to be well and whole. And when you get well and whole and you get stabilized and you have some coping mechanisms for when your body starts to drag you underwater, which you've experienced, and when your body duct tapes you to a rocket ship, which you've experienced, when you get some coping strategies and some behavior management strategies on those during those seasons, then you are in a place to begin to work on your marriage. And it sounds like semantics, but it's a huge difference. Here's why. If your marriage is over, if your wife has all but left you, which it sounds like she has, you still need to take your meds and work on having a good life. You got 5 kids that need their dad. Okay? You deserve a life of peace, and you haven't had that in a long, long time. Right?
That would be correct.
Okay. So our focus right now is getting Grant well and healthy. And that will allow you to focus on the kids. That will allow you to focus on your marriage. And let me try to say this in a right way that's kind. When's the this is I don't want to paint everyone with bipolar with one broad stroke, okay? But here is something I've seen with the limited number of folks I've worked with. They are very, very, very smart, lightning smart. And on up seasons, they are able to, their computational power is so much faster and so much more vast than a normal guy like me. And they're able to see solutions to problems. Sometimes that don't even exist yet, but they create solutions to situations. And that's often good unless those problems are relational. And then what you end up doing is coming up with the ways you're going to save your marriage, and you forget to ask your wife. And then you start doubling down on a bunch of activities and actions, and they don't work because it's not part of what your wife needs to be whole in this marriage. And then it's agonizing and frustrating, and then your body starts flipping switches on you. Am I on the right path?
I'm trying to keep up with you.
Okay. So when's the last time you sat down with your wife and said, what's the status of our marriage?
I think at the beginning of October, we pushed pause on marriage counseling for 3 months, and we'd been seeing a marriage counselor on a weekly basis for 90 days or so.
Okay. Who pushed pause and why?
I think financially we'd come to the end of the financial resources.
Okay.
And just not seeing any progress or change or difference. I can't point to one thing and say this is different in the last 90 days.
Okay. Has she filed for divorce yet? Has she filed for a legal separation yet?
We've talked about a legal separation.
Okay. Let's go to your kids. Your 13-year-old right now is right. Okay? She's right. You scared the hell out of her. You said some tough stuff. And for a 13-year-old now, what you're doing, my brother, is you're playing a long game. Okay? That dad's well. Dad's going to take his medication. Dad's going to not grovel and try to earn your love back. But your dad's just going to keep showing up because I love you. And if she says, I don't want you in my presence, you're going to say, cool, I love you. Here's what we want. We're going to play a game. It's a long game. It's 10 years from now. So at 23, here's what I want her to have. A handwritten letter from her dad every 2 weeks for 10 years.
Okay.
Telling her how she's doing, how proud of her you are. Make the letter about her. Make her the hero of the letter. Not about dad. This is about her. How much you love her. How proud of what a beautiful young woman she is. What a gritty, brilliant young woman she is. I want her to have a firm understanding about how loved she is. And at the same time, I want to respect her autonomy that she gets to choose to not be terrified and scared again for a while. It's both and. Okay?
Okay.
Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Okay. What about your other kids?
Our 11-year-old doesn't live at home anymore full time. She lives with her aunt.
Okay.
She and my wife don't have the best relationship. And then we have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old boy. So we had 4 daughters and a son.
Okay.
But the younger 3, they still want me in their life. They still appreciate me coming by. They still like me being involved in their lives. My 11-year-old isn't as hostile and isn't as prickly as my 13-year-old.
Okay.
But I think doing the letter thing, if I can do it for one of them, I could probably do it for each one of them.
Okay.
And that probably would be healthy for them to look back on the past.
Yep.
I know I would have appreciated it from my dad.
Yeah. And here's a cool thing about when you go have a visit with your 3 kids that want to hang out with you, you go have a visit with those 3 and you'll have a great time. They remember the feelings, but they don't always remember exactly what dad said. And if you say something dumb over the next few years, which if you're a parent, you for sure will, I know I will, our bodies have a way of remembering the negative stuff more than the positive stuff. And ex-spouses have a more likely to bring up, well, your dad said that, right? Negative stuff. The beauty of having a letter is they can read it over and over and over again. It crystallizes in their mind how valuable and beautiful and wonderful and gritty and smart they are. So says their dad. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, I do.
Your daughter is living with your aunt. Why aren't any of these kids living with you? Have you had your kids removed? Have they been taken from you?
I know that we've had CPS cases over the last probably 5 years, and they were because of actions that I had neglect that probably would be able to be using the finger pointed at me.
What'd you do? I need you to talk directly into the phone too. It's starting to fade a little bit. What happened?
I let a 2-year-old go out and winter scene with snow on the ground, and all she had was a diaper on, and I didn't realize that she'd gone out of the house. The neighbor found her and brought her back.
Okay. What else?
My kids reporting to the nurse at school they didn't feel safe at home.
Okay. Were you violent with them?
Probably. I don't remember. I don't remember specific instances of being violent towards them. There was a time when I took a door off of its hinges and showed violence that way towards our house.
Okay.
And I was out of control.
Okay. So here's what it sounds like. The greatest gift you can give your kids right now is for you to be well. Okay. And this is hard to hear, but you're doing the right things right now. You're going to have to keep working real, real hard. And it's just going to take time. Smashing a door off its hinges in your house with 4 little kids or 5 little kids is trauma. That's what that is. And you know that. I'm not going to kick you while you're down. You can't put that door back on the hinges, and you can't sweep up all the pieces of the door that are on the floor and rebuild it and say, hey, it's all good. What you have to do over a long period of time is get yourself stable and get yourself well, and you're doing the right things. You got a full-time psychiatrist. You got a full-time therapist. You're doing the work. Do the work for Grant, because Grant deserves to be whole. And then do it for those kids. It sounds to me, my brother, like your marriage is over. And I think it's time for some very concrete conversations with your wife. Are you done? Is this entity over? You will always be in relationship with her because y'all share 5 kids. Always. Is this done? Because you're spending a lot of energy trying to keep together a unity that might be over. Okay? Let's get some very clear answers here. And let's not ever stop taking our meds. Let's not ever hop out of counseling. Okay? And let's work a long game to get ourselves well and whole so that we are safe around our kids. Not so we show them and trick them, so that we become safe in their presence. And kids have a pretty uncanny knack for feeling it. Glassy-eyed dad versus, oh, dad sees me. There he is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. Let's work towards that, my brother. Okay? Thanks for being brave. Thanks for trying to turn this sucker around. You're worth it. They're worth it. Keep fighting, my man.